Om Tadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Pranams to the lotus feet of the Lord, pranams to all the Mahatmas and Gurujis, pranams to all of you. Let us chant shloka number 22. दाक्षिण्यं स्वजने दया परिजने षाढ्यं सदा दुर्जने प्रीतिः साधुजने नयो नृपजने विद्वज्जने चार्जवम् शौर्यं शत्रुजने क्षमा गुरुजने कान्ताजने दृष्टता ये चैवं पुरुषा कलासु कुशलाः तेष्वेव लोकस्थितिः. We are doing this shloka in the last class and we are halfway through that. Here, first one is Dakshinyam Swajane. Swajanam means relatives who are in a peculiar position. There are relatives who are not direct children or parents. There are some bandhus, we call it as a bandhus. So, who are relatives, they are not people outside also. So, these bandhus, they require some help. Then you are supposed to help them. So, dakshinyam mean compassion. So, you have to have some consideration. So, keep some amount of consideration for helping your own relatives, which is very important. Bandhavaha, that is very important. Valluvar says in Tirukural, for example, you go to Ilvalkai Adhigaram. Ilvalkai is the fifth Adhigaram. Okay. So, he say, Shloka number 43. Tenbularthar Devam the Virundokkal Tan Endrang Aimbulataru Ombal Talai. If you are a householder, there are 5 people you are supposed to help. Of which the main word I will take it up, Virundokkal. Virundokkal means the Swajana. That's what it means. So one is supposed to support them as well, which is very important. I'll give you one more reference. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukracharya is advising Bali Chakravarti because he knows, the Shukracharya knows that the person who has come Vamana is nothing but Mahavishnu. So he is warning Bali Chakravarti, don't give everything to him. And as a king, you are supposed to, as an individual, you are supposed to allocate 20% each. And he gives a beautiful shloka which says, Dharmaya yashasetaya kamaya swajanaya cha panchada vibajan with the bhihamutra cha modate. So Dharmaya yashasetaya kamaya swajanaya cha. So what he's saying is, there are 5 portions you have to allocate. First thing is you have to do charity for all the good deeds, which is earning punyam, 20%. And you are supposed to allocate 20%, which will give you fame, yashas. So he's talking about the kings, because kings have to do certain things for the fame also. Because people have to subject, that people should know that the king is giving. So yashas. So that public spending, which will give you fame, 20%. And then investment for growth, that is 20%. And enjoyment for yourself, 20%. And then swajanaya cha, for families and friends, another 20% you are supposed to allocate. This comes in the Bhagavatam. So that is very important. This is first one. And next one is Daya Parijane. Daya Parijane means what? I mean, you should have kindness towards the other assistants who are working for you. Very, very important. Parijane means the Parivarangal, the people who are working for you. If you take at home, you got maid, you got driver, you got others who are coming and helping you at home. You have to take care of them. Okay, so you should have the daya. So you should be able to help them as well. So consideration. Consideration means what? You must treat them respectfully. Very, very important. In fact, again referring to Thirukural, Anbudamai Adhikaram. Anbudamai Adhikaram is Adhikaram number 8. which is called Anbudamai. So there Krishna says, sorry, not Krishna, Thiruvalluvar says, "Na Anburku mundo adaikum thal aarvarar pungalil poosal tharum." So you must be having a kind words, treat everybody gently. So the whole uh, adhikaram you can take it, Anbudamai. And then another one is Iniyavai Kural, adhikaram number 10. Inimai Kural. That means kind words. So that means you are supposed to have the love and then kind words for everyone. And here Daya Parijane means you must all the more have the same for your own people who are there. You must treat them well. So what is the treating them well? Whatever you eat, you should give it to them. Whatever the coffee you give, can make it for you, you give to them the same standard of coffee. Give them everything. So these are all the way of treating them well, because this is very important. So that is the second one we saw. So the Daya Parijane. Then Durjane Shadyam. Durjane Shadyam. Durjane means what? Those wicked ones who are surrounded. You must be very smart. You must outsmart them. You must outsmart them. It is very, very important. And Valluvar has given lots of ideas in the second section of the Tirukural. In Arsial, Amaichiyal sections, he has given lots of things. Okay. So you should be able to outsmart others. You cannot be a chalu. I mean, you have to be outsmart them. That is why in Mahabharata, I told you, no, when Mahabharata, the means which is used by Krishna to defeat Kauravas, it is all as per the Rajanidhi perfect. And normally we will say that Krishna did not do it properly. It is incorrect statement. Similarly, in Ramayana, I told you Valivadam. So there are reasons for it. You must understand the Kshatriya Dharma, then only you will be able to appreciate. From a common man, if you try to understand the Dharma, you will be confused. That's why people criticize and comment, which is very unfortunate. It is half-baked knowledge, which you understand with regard to noble people, have love, regard, liking their company. Sadhu jane. That means you must have a desire for satsanga, companionship, their association. There's a beautiful adhikaram called Periyarai Tunai Kodal. Periyarai Tunai Kodal, adhikaram number 45. So I will give you the homework. So you have to go and study further. Okay, then I will give you that. Adhikaram number 45, in which specifically 443 and 444 குரல் number specifically I have chosen, which is very, very appropriate. அரியவற்றுள் எல்லாம் அரிதே பெரியாரை பேணி தமரா குழல் தம்மின் பெரியார் தமரா ஒழுகுதல் வன்மையுள் எல்லாம் தலை. So it is very, very important. We have got the counsel of the wise people always. We must have. In modern day concept, we talk about mentors, mentoring concept, networking and mentoring. You go and mentor, ask for any help from the mentor. Those days it is called sadhujane preetihi. That is what it is. The next one, nrupajane nyayaha. With regard to the rulers of the government, always follow the law. Nyaya means law. Be legal, be straightforward, don't be deceitful. It is good for the kingdom also, good for the king also, good for the citizens also. Nrupajane nyayaha or dharmaha, nitihi. So it is very important. Often people give the example. A person who throws away all the dust, everything in India, and comes here to Singapore, land, immediately start behaving properly. And those days people used to mock at Singapore as a fine country. Fine means everything is penalized. Of course, they have loosened a lot of things now here. But it doesn't mean you must throw everything there. That means everything has to work regulated. For example, in a traffic light, first time when I went abroad, first to US, I was surprised. What happened was I was in a traffic light, nobody was there. Normally in India, when nobody is there, what you do? You will beat the red light and go. That is a normal thing. Somebody will be honking you. There, everybody waits. So that is the norm in Singapore also. So you get used to that. So you must follow the rule of the law even when nobody is watching you, observing you. That is very important. So it is very important. Very simple things. For example, if you go to metro station, there will be a marking which is clearly given. For example, when the train stops, first the people who have to exit first. Then people have to get in. And very clearly you are supposed to stand in the side, allow the people to exit. Same goes with the lift also. in the lift in the apartments or offices should follow. You cannot go first there. These are all basic etiquette. So you must follow. Certain things are written rules, some of things are unwritten rules, some of things are signages, all those things. So one should follow all of them very clearly. That is what is important. Then Vidvajanecha Arjavam. Arjavam means straightforwardness. Straightforward sincerity with regard to the learned people. So what do you mean by this? Because express your sincere desire to learn. It is because the rule for learned man is that never teach a student if he is not eager to learn. Never teach a person if he is not eager to learn. If he has got a casual approach, never teach such a student because it's a waste of time. It will be a cross ventilation, which means he will come here and from one year and leave it from another year. So it's a waste of time. So therefore, in those days, the teacher never used to teach straight away. They will give them some excuses initially, and it is not that they don't want to teach. It is a way of teaching. They will say that I don't have time or something or other, and the true student has to wait and long for it. Then only they will teach. Nowadays, teaching has become commercial, which is very unfortunate all over the world. In fact, selling knowledge is a crime, papam, as per Shastra. Even though Vedanta classes every is going on in many places across the world, everything is free. Any knowledge is not supposed to be sold. Understand this. This is how we were living like this last 100 years ago. Everything was free. Now what happened? In the name of money, now teacher will be advertising and then come. Whether you like it or not, he will want to collect the fees. All those things. It has become a big business by itself all over the world. Very unfortunate. So people have to have a longing for learning. That means what? You must be sincere, arjavam. That's why you will always test whether it is there or not. In fact, in Kathopanishad, 9-year-old boy Nachiketas, and he goes to meet Yamardharma Raja in the heaven. And of course, I don't want to go into the full story which will come in the Upanishad. And he is asking for 3 boons, and one of them is he is asking for Atma Jnanam. And Yamardharma Raja says, no, you mean it is too much for you, don't ask for it. And he says, no, I want only Atma Jnanam. So Nachiketas tests him with all dangling various material things. And Nachiketas said, no, I want only Jnanam. Then finally he got the Jnanam and then he got liberated. That's what it is. So it is very important. In fact, there is a beautiful shloka which is coming in Panchatantra. Na Vachyam Shraddha Sametasya na Pracheshta Viseshatah Proktam Shraddha Vihinasya Aranya Rutitopamam. Vachyam Shraddha Sametasya Pracheshtascha Visheshatah Proktam Shraddha Vihinasya Aranyam Ruditopamam. That means a person, teach a person who has got Shraddha, sincerity, commitment. If you teach a person who has no Shraddha, it is like crying in the forest, crying in the wilderness. That's what it is. So very important thing is Shraddha. We often tell in our classes also, even if there is a 1% class will be on. And once we are committed, that class will go on, irrespective of the number of participants. It is not the quantity which matters. It is the quality which matters. And the one person, Krishna, for Krishna, Arjuna was the only student. So I always jokingly used to say, see, our Vedanta classes, of course, all over the world it is being done. What? There is no qualification criteria for anyone to attend. In those days, Vedanta was never taught like this, thanks to Swami Chinmayananda who brought it to masses. Otherwise, it was considered a sacrilege, papam, bringing it, because it can confuse if you don't teach it properly. And Swami Chinmayananda and Dayananda only institutionalized the process, have beautifully laid out the process. Fortunately, we are all able to learn. So, first one is there is no criteria for admission. Second thing is there is no attendance at all. Nowadays, online classes, and people come and go. We do not know whether people here or not. We do not know. Third thing is there's no fees at all. Free. Everything is free. Fourth one is there's no examination. So this is something which only when somebody has got a commitment and sincerity will come, because nobody is compelling you. Many people come and join our Gita classes in the second chapter, drop out. 50% will drop away because they say it is too much academic, all those things. They don't have a patience to learn. They don't have the willingness to learn. So we always say, for learning anything, any for that matter, any learning, not only Vedanta, even our materialistic learning, wherever you want to learn, you will have to have the sincerity and commitment. We call it as in the modern language, fire in the belly. When the fire in the belly is there, you will sincerely learn. You will look at the vision, what you can accomplish by that. So you will be doing it. That's what it is. So that is the next one. So vidvajjanecha arjavam. Then shauryam shatrujane. Shauryam shatrujane. The advice of a king, shauryam, courage, valor with regard to the enemies. It is for the enemy, it is for the king. It is for the king should have a lot of shauryam. Shauryam means what? You must have courage. Once you decide to go for battle, all out. There's no question of going back. There's no question of going back at all. Shauryam tejodirdakshyam yuddhe chapya palayanam dhanam ishvara bhavascha shatram karma svabhavacham. Bhagavan says in the Gita 18th chapter. So that is what it is. Then Shama Gurujane, with regard to gurus or elders or teachers, you must have a patience. Patience for what? It's a learning process, requires a lot of patience. Now, learning is a gradual process. You cannot say teach Vedanta in a 10-day capsule form. It is impossible. Our Swamiji often used to say, you cannot have a crash program of Vedanta, then you will only crash. You cannot have a crash program. It is a systematic, continuous study for a lengthy period of time under the guidance of a competent acharya. This is what my gurus used to say. And he says every word is important. And it is true. You cannot rush. And today in the modern busy world, 1 hour a week itself is a big commitment. After that, you are supposed to learn again. You are supposed to learn again, refresh again and do it and take notes. It is a systematic study like any other program. You cannot rush through at all. It's a gradual process. Otherwise, even our children also can be dumped everything, and even 16, 17 years of study can be shrunk. Why? It is not possible for you to absorb. You have to absorb, especially when it comes to Vedanta, you require a transformation also. So that is what it is. And so patience is required. Now, shanakaha shaiva vidyam artacha sadhayet. Okay, so that means what? Vidyam and artha. So money and knowledge have to be earned by gradual process. Don't compare the politicians who are making billions by one term of becoming an MP or MLA in our back in our country. I'm not talking about it. Here, normal earning through any business or anything, it requires a gradual process. So actually, it is a very gradual process. Next one, and the next one is Narijane Drishtata. Some book has got Narijane Drishtata, otherwise Kanta Jane Drishtata. Both are one and the same. So Drishtata means, so Narijana or Kanta means women folks. So the Drishtata means with regard to women being shrewdness, smartness, skill, alertness. So you can use any one of the word. So this is basically an advice directed towards men. What do you mean by shrewdness with regard to women? The shrewdness is the capacity to transact with women without developing a weakness or attachment for them. Very important. You must not get enticed. And there is a adhikaram which is called Penvari Cheral. Penvari Cheral. Adhikaram number 91. Go and do the homework. Because you cannot. Even with spouse, with your wife, for example, you must listen to the wife definitely. But at the same time, you must also be careful. Not everybody, because normally the spouse will have utmost concern for us. At the same time, if there are things which is not acceptable, then you must be able to say no. Take for example Dasharatha. What happened to him? He gave the boon to Kaigeyi in one point, and she started utilizing and blackmailing Dasaratha. And he said, I mean, if you don't give it, what happened? Your whole kula will be having a problem. So this is what she said. Finally, Dasarada has to yield. So that weakness should not be there. Among the four wives, he was more attached to Kaikeyi. And that attachment only led to his downfall also for Dasharatha. Very clearly understand this. It is because once a person forms a weakness or attachment, he will be enslaved. Just as there is an addiction for liquor and cigarettes, similarly here also, a person can become enslaved. Once a person becomes enslaved, the first casualty is discrimination. Therefore, the consequences can be negative. And unfortunately, nowadays, it is sorry to say this, but I'm hearing a lot of stories I have to share only through this medium. I mean, where we used to have the marriage as a divine process, nowadays we have become westernized, unfortunately. One person, the friend comes and elopes this person's wife, and don't say bye bye. Is something uncommon in our this thing. Now it has become like this. It is very very becoming rampant. So very very careful. You must be very careful when dealing with women. You cannot say I will not deal with anybody. You have to deal with people at the same time. One should be very very careful. Should be very careful. So for women also it should be the other way. It should be Purusha Jane na Durja Jane Purusha Jane Drishtata. You must be able to have the same one. Then Echa Evam, the last line. Echa Evam Purushaha Kalasu Kushalaha. Echa Evam Purushaha Kalasu Kushalaha. Those people who are experts with regard to the art of dealing with people, because whatever he has listed here, they are all the thing, and one should have the art of dealing with people, art of dealing with society, art of dealing with the government, with the youngsters, everything. So Kala. So there are some people who have got the art. It's able. That's why it's called Kala. It's an art. Now, Ekalasu Kushala. Now, those who are experts in this art of handling the people, Teshu eva lokastitihi. The Teshu eva lokastitihi. In fact, the whole world is sustained by such people only. That means what? They are the pillars of the society. It is because if a person does not know how to interact, then it can create a lot of quarrel, and there is uneasiness in the atmosphere. There afterwards, there can be fight among families, it can be fight among communities. So that is what it is. So it is very important that leaders are made only by these community skills actually. Many leaders, if you analyze them, they all have these skills, which is very successful leaders. Some of them we call them as Mahatmas because they are above board. That's what you can see. Go to next shloka now. We go to shloka number 26. 26. Let us chant. Pranagad nivrittihi bharatane harane samyam satyavakyam kale shaktya pradanam yuvati janakatha mukhabhava paresham trishnas reto vibhango gurushacha vinayah sarvabhuta anukampa samanyam sarvashastreshu अनुपहदवितिः श्रेयसाम्येव एष पन्ताः प्राण आघातात् निवृत्तिः परदने हरणे संयमः सत्यवाक्यं काले शक्त्या प्रदानं युवति जनकता मुखभावा परेषां तृष्णाश्रेतो विभंगो गुरुषु च विनयः सर्वभूत अनुकंपा सामान्यं सर्वशास्त्रेषु अनुपहत विधिः श्रेयसाम येष पंताः. Here, Bhadrahari describes the lifestyle which is a means for prosperity and growth, material as well as spiritual. So follow this lifestyle and you will grow in life, both materially and spiritually. Yeshaha, this lifestyle, Pantaha, in this marga, the road, na Shreyasam, leading to Shreyas, as well as Prayas. Shreyas means moksha, Prayas means Dharma Artha Kama. There are four types of pursuits, human pursuits called Purushartha hai. Dharma Artha Kama is called Prayas, and Moksha is called Shreyas, So this will give you both prayers as well as shreyas. So what are the rules? He prescribes a few rules here. First one is na pranagata nivrittihi. Agataha means himsa, wound, hurt, pain, affliction, torment, torture. Now, pranagataha means prana himsa or prani himsa. Nivrittihi means withdrawal. So, first rule is withdraw from prani himsa. The word prani includes all living being. So, remember that Manushya is also prani. Okay, and we all have got the prana. Therefore, we are also called prani. Therefore, follow ahimsa to the maximum possible extent. Let himsa be the last resort. There may be some inevitable himsa while living, but our aim is to minimize that. Ahimsa is the first rule. Bhagavan says in Gita repeatedly, na ama nitvamadam bitvam ahimsa shanti arjavam. There ahimsa word comes. Then you may wonder, Bhagavan says ahimsa and then he is asking him to kill others. There it is dharma yuddham. So that's where you should not have the conflict between the two. Generally, where there is a adharma is prevailing, as a kshatriya, you are supposed to re-establish a dharma. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tatatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashayesha duskrutam. That is very, very important for a king. So you should not conflict. But normally, one should not have himsa. If you say there is a soldier who is there in the bordering and then protecting our borders in the Pakistan or China border, and you are seeing a lot of tension going on, do you mean say ahimsa, I cannot? No. That's called Visesha Dharma. So one should have the clarity around those things. So it is so general rule is do not do himsa. This is for people like common people like us. We are not taking the weapons and we are not doing it. Assuming you are a security guard. I had been I had been to Africa quite a few times. And some of the places are quite dangerous. You'll have electrical fencing and there will be a paid professional security with the gun, loaded gun, they will be keeping it. In fact, they will go with you in front and back and above your car also if you paid the money. And there you cannot say ahimsa. Then people, you will be vanished completely from the scene. They will kill you, hijack you. That is not the point. As a normal person, you are not supposed to do any himsa at all. And it is very, very important. That means what? You must live your life with the least disturbance to all the animals and beings. That is why our Shastra is saying vegetarianism is a must for people who want moksha. Of course, if you are a king, if you are a soldier, you can eat non-vegetarian. It depends on what is your profession, because for them they have to do it. If you are a person who is lifting the bags and doing all the physical work, probably he requires more calories. Probably he may require that. That is fine. But normally, many of us are not in that profession, right? So one should not have the himsa to any being. And in Tirukural, there are three adhikarams. I'll give you the homework. Inna Sayyamai, adhikaram number 32. Do not harm anyone. 32. Kollamai, not to kill anyone. Again, exceptions are there. Adhikaram number 33. Then very important, Pulal Maruttal. Adhikaram number 26. Not eating non-vegetarian. Very clear. Pulal Maruttal. Including egg. Let us be very clear about it. So one should be a vegetarian, normally speaking, unless your profession demands otherwise. You should not kill or you should not eat others. And Upanishad says your mental disposition, your mental inclination will be based on the food you eat. There's a big subject by itself. But Shastra itself says, Hamsa Gita talks about it, Chandogya Upanishad, the very Upanishads, Chandogya Upanishad specifically says, Ahara Shuddho, Chitta Shuddho. And there are three things in the food. One is the Stula Bhagam, which is the raw one, which goes into evacuation. And there is a subtle one, which is what is going and nourishing our body, which is giving you vitamins and minerals and which goes into bloodstream and then giving you the health. The third one is which is Adi Sukshma Bhagam, which is taking care of your mind. and it is extremely important that we have to follow vegetarianism. Now, veganism is becoming famous worldwide for various reasons. One is not killing, that is one thing, and second thing is that is the way you are going to preserve the whole world, because the more land is being aerated, and then you are doing agriculture for feeding the livestock, and that is one of the biggest ozone. I mean, ozone depletion. You get a lot of carbon dioxide, methane gas get generated. It is a big issue for global warming. And tomorrow, if you don't follow vegetarianism, we are going to damage the whole earth, because this whole earth has got certain cycle which is maintained by the balances are there. So the ocean, all the fishes, and similarly insects by pesticides, all those things, excessive use of pesticides are killing insects. All these things are extremely dangerous. And we are already in the last 300 years of global material industrialization has spoiled what was preserved for thousands and thousands of years. And one should, there is a serious issue. So himsa should not be there. Let me stop here. I can talk for 2 hours on this particular subject. Anyhow, I'll stop here. The prana agata nivrittihi. Then paradane harane samyamaha. Paradane harane samyamaha. Paradana haram means what? Possessing someone else's property. Misappropriation, illegal possession, unrighteous possession is paradana haranam. Samyameha means withdrawal, avoidance, restraint. By all means, avoid any possession which does not legitimately belong to you. Very, very important. Nowadays, there are a lot of things. If you don't sell your land, they will come and threaten you. You better sell it. That too at a lower rate. And there are certain politicians who are buying the entire city itself. I don't know what they will do. And all ill-gotten wealth. And they are threatening people and make them sure they sell it. This mafia is going on all over the place. Where will it stop? And normally, you are not supposed to take others' wealth. And it is a very, very harmful thing. World War again says there is an adhikaram called Vekhamai. Vekhamai. Adhikaram number 18. I'm not going into the choral details. I'm just giving you the glimpse. You can go and do a homework also. So Vekhamai is the one. The other person may not know that I am having his possession. He may not even ask for it from me. Whether he asks or not is not the question. If I have got somebody else's possession, it is my duty to give it back. Thus, I don't possess anybody else's wealth, whether it is another person's, another community shop, or even government's money. What happens back in Tamil Nadu? Temple lands. So much of, I don't need to say so much, you all know. Everybody has taken it. All the temples, many of the people have given acres of land, prime land to the temple. You are supposed to take the income and supposed to take care of the temples. What is happening back? People are taking and eating it away. Very unfortunate, including the temple which I come from. Lot of lands used to be there. I don't know whether people are paying tenant or rent or not. We do not know. It's a big challenge. So that's what it is. Then Satya Vakyam. Next one is Satya Vakyam. Truthful speech. Truthful speech. We have already talked about the truthful speech before. And whenever we talk about speaking the truth, the value is more a negative value than positive. What I mean is, we need not speak all the truth. If a person is not very intelligent, you need not tell him, I'm going to tell you the truth and that you are dull. You should not say that. And so therefore, always remember, Satya Vakyam does not mean you should speak truth all the time. If you are speaking, speak truth, or you can keep silent. In fact, there is a beautiful adhikaram called Vaimai. Vaimai adhikaram number 30. Adhikaram number 30. Yes, I am going to give you a couple of quotes. It's very, very important. Where Valluvar beautifully puts it. வாய்மை எனப்படுவது யாது எனின் யாது ஒன்றும் தீமை இல்லாத சொல்லல். We talked in detail in the previous section also how to speak. Again here 291, Quran number 291. Not harming anyone. And second one is very important. Again, you have to understand it very clearly. பொய்மையும் வாய்மை எடுத்த இடத்த புரை தீர்ந்த நன்மை பயக்கும் எனின். If one lie is going to save a larger mass, then it is okay to do lying, but just be carefully taken care. You cannot say I'm lying because for me. No, if you are going to protect people, it all. So what I want to say is this dharma, adharma. There's a lot of confusion. In fact, Bhagavan says in Gita, I mean, even the learned people are very confused what is right and what is wrong. So Arjuna, I am telling you, this is the right thing to do. You have to fight. Kim karma kimakarmeti kaviyopetra mohitaha. Karmano heavy bodhavyam cha vikarmana. Akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gadhi. So he says, it is very, very deep. Dharma Shastram understanding is more difficult than Vedanta. Vedanta is easy to understand. Dharma Shastram is so complex. That is why there are three layers which is given there. In terms of understanding, if you don't have any, if you have got any confusion, how to go about approach it. The first approach is what? You can go to straight away to the Vedas and check the Purva Bhaga of the Veda. Is it possible for us to read all of them? Impossible. We cannot decipher because it is voluminous and you have to contextualize it properly. Impossible. The second thing is what you can do. You can go to ancillary scriptures, Smriti Granthas, and like Tirukural. Again, you should be able to know. Now, people coming from Tamil Nadu, many people, even after studying Tamil, have forgotten because they have not used the language for after coming out. So many people I know are struggling to read the Tamil scriptures who have studied Tamil in their school. They are not able to study the scripture now. It is so bad. And people in Tamil Nadu need not need not write the exam in Tamil at all. You can still get through by taking other languages. That's unfortunate. So people can go to Tirukural and read it. So that is any allied scriptures which is there. So many scriptures are there. I'm just giving you Tirukural, which is one of my favorite because it is so comprehensive. For Dharma Shastram, simplified is Tirukural. You've got all the answers for everything. I have not come across any other scripture. That's why it is one of the scriptures which is widely translated across the world in many, many languages. If you don't know Tamil, at least you can take the reading, proper translation and read it. The third one is what? You seek elders' advice. That's what I told you. Piriyarai Thunai Kodal Adhikaram, I said earlier. So you can seek advice of others who are learned people, who knows Dharma Shastra, and accordingly they will be able to give you. So very important. So Satya Vakyam. So Satya Vakyam means, so what means the truth is avoidance of untruth. That's the first one. So Satya Kathanam is equal to Anrita or Asatya Varjanam. So Anrita Varjanam is the third rule. The fourth rule is, the next one is Kale Shaktya Pradhanam. Kale Shaktya Pradhanam. Let me check it. Kale Shaktya Pradhanam. Regularly give charity. Kale Pradhanam means Dhanam prescribed regularly at the appropriate times. At a particular places, Dhanam is supposed to be more sacred. Kshetra Dhanam is more punyam. There are so many Dhanams given there in our scriptures. In fact, the whole our religion talks about Dhanam. Many people unfortunately think Hinduism is not promoting, other religions are talking about it. No. In Hinduism, the day the child is born, Dhanam has to be given. And you are supposed to do Dhanam throughout your life. And Antyeshti, at the time when the dead body is there, you are supposed to give Dhanam. In fact, there are so many scriptures promoting Dhanam. In fact, Bhagavan says in Gita, Satvika Dhanam, Rajasa Dhanam, Tamasa Dhanam. Datavyamiti yad dhanam, diyate nupakarine, deshe kale cha pate cha, tadhanam damasam, tadhanam satvikam srutam, tadhanam satvikam srutam. Yajnadana tapakarma na tyajyam karyame vadate. Yajnodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Dana is a very important component. It is there. Yajnana danena tapasa anashakena, Upanishad says. So Dhanam is a very, very important point which has to be done. And as I told you earlier, Srimad Bhagavatam, that one shloka which I gave you when I talked about the Swajanayacha, there's another one reference which is coming in the Skanda Purana. That Skanda Puranam says minimum 10% post-tax you must give charity. Okay. So this is coming in the Kedar, Maheshwara Kedara Kandam in Skanda Puranam. Nyayo Parjita Vittena, the Nyayo Parjita Vittena, Dashamshena Dhimata, Dashamshena Dhimata, Kartavyo Vinyogascha, Isha Prityata Hetave. Isha Prityata Hetave. So Dashamshena Dhimata. So you must give minimum 10%. So Nyayo Parjida Vittena Dashamshena Dhimata. Minimum 10% charity to be given. Bhagavatam says 20%. Here it says 20%. Whichever number you like, you want higher number, take 20%. I know of friends who are giving 100% of the income to charity. Okay, there are people who are doing it. So I don't want you to go to that extent. At least give something. So how to give it? It's a very important point. How to give it? The best thing is open what I call it as a number 2 account. So number 2 account means what? You open another bank account and put the money separately. Okay. So there what you do? You immediately put the money. Every month you put 10% into that. That's what many people do it. And from there you write a check or do internet transfer to various charity organizations and keep giving it. It is very, very important. In fact, Valluvar says a exclusive adivaram called Igai. Igai means giving charity. That is adhikaram number 23. Adhikaram number 23. I'll give you one Quran. Okay. வரியார்க்கு ஒன்று ஈவதே ஈகை மற்றெல்லாம் குறியை திருப்பை நீரது உடைத்து குறி எதிர்ப்பை நீரது உடைத்து. That means people who are strangers where you do not expect anything. That is called real dhanam. Not giving some help, this thing to your maid or your driver is not dhanam. That is you are expecting something. There you are helping the person. There you are helping a person. That's a different. But here what he's saying is normally we say no, what left hand gives, right hand should not know. That is what is called real dhanam. So always it is important. You have got the ihai. Of course, there is another adhikaram which is a previous adhikaram which is 22. That talks about the various services you are supposed to do. That is oppurava ridal. When you are in the society, you have to contribute to the society. And there, one of the very important Qurans, which is my favorite Quran, 212. தாளாற்றி தந்த பொருளெல்லாம் தக்கார்க்கு வேளாண்மை செய்தற் பொருட்டு. Very important. Whatever you earn, it is supposed to be only for giving. What else you want to say? And 2 Qurans later, 214, Thiruvalluvar says, if you don't give it, you are equivalent to dead. That means you are as good as a dead person. Now, ஒத்து அறிவான் உயிர் வாழ்வான் மற்றையான் செத்தாருள் வைக்கப்படும். If you don't give, you are already a dead person. That is very important. So one should say, I should always give. Understand, keeping the money for your children is not the main aim. Go and look at the Warren Buffets, Bill Gates, so many people. There's a give foundation, give things. So you should give. You go to the national universities in the US. I was amazed by visiting some of the universities. Everything is, you go to Harvard, you go to Stanford, everything is charity based. Various philanthropies have given tons and tons. Here also in the past, I studied in AC College of Technology, Aragappa Chettiar College of Technology. Aragappa Chettiar, they built the colleges. Annamalai Chettiar, Aragappa Chettiar, they all have given institutions. And the college I studied, pre-university, is again Anantaramayar, who built the Paramakalyani College. So it is giving is part of the societal needs. One should give. It is extremely important. And if you don't give, then what happened? Trividam naragasyedam dvaram nashanam atmanah kama krotas tata lobah tasmat etat trayam tyajet. Lobi means what? A person who is not parting with things, who is always greedy, who is always keeping everything. Lobi has got 2 meanings. One is amassing something or retaining whatever it is, not giving it to others. It's called Lobatanmai. And Bhagavan says there's a hell waiting for you. You go and study Garuda Puranam. Very rare. Okay, no, normally people don't talk about the Garuda Puranam. They talk about Garuda Puranam only when there's somebody died, you have to read. No, you can study normally also. There are three sections. The middle section talks about the how the Jiva travels. There it is very much emphasized where Bhagavan or Narayana is talking to Garuda and giving all the advice. That's the Garuda Puranam. Go and look at it. Amazing scripture. There are YouTubes available, by the way. So you go and study. Dhanam is very much emphasized there. So Dharam will give you Punyam, and Punyam will take you to the Swarga. For those who are looking for Swarga. If you want to encash the Punyam for what? For moksha, you can encash for spiritual growth also. So dharam is an extremely an important part. So I will stop here. We will continue further in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण मयि मयीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः कृष्णार्पणमस्तु हरि ओम।